All right, more hot stove talk today. It's going to be every day this week and next week too through the winter meetings. Looking forward to it. We're going to play a game of sort of like should they stay or should they go? More like will they stay or will they go? Little ode to the Clash for you older fans out there. If you recall the song, Will I Stay or Will I Go? I think that was the song. Anyway, we're going to go over a whole bunch of free agents who could be staying, could be going. All right, I'm going to take some chats. Are the Reds for real about Schwarber? My early indication is long shot. That's no surprise. I guess you could have told me that. I mean, no one would expect that as a likelihood. That is a big price, and understandably so. Schwarber is deserving 56 home runs, 23 home runs versus lefties. So incredible season, great in the clubhouse. He's got a big market. We're going to talk a little bit more about his market later, but certainly we know about the Pirates and the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Phillies. I think John Morosi mentioned the Giants. So I mean, I think he's going to have an enormous market. That's not a scoop either. Reds, I checked it on that one this week, and it did sound like a bit of a long shot there. No surprise. We shall see. Maybe they're doing it under the radar, and my sources don't know yet. Did Cashman wake up from his nap yet? No, Cashman's not napping, and I know fans were upset that they didn't re-sign Devin Williams for some reason. I'm not sure why. They didn't love him when he was a Yankee, and now all of a sudden we've got fans who are like, "Oh my God, they let Devin Williams go to the Mets, no less." I mean, are we really upset, Yankee fans? He didn't really have a good year. Somebody's telling me, I don't know if I want to repeat rumors because I'm not sure. John the Goat, I like that. I don't know about that, but it's very nice of you. All right, we're going to start with the relief market. We'll try to get to all the chats I can. Maybe not exactly when they are sent, but we do have my chat helper there who's going to help me on any of the chats. And I know we had a ton of them yet. It's a bad look for the Yanks. That's why that they didn't resign Devin Williams. Really, he had a 4.79 ERA. We'll see. It's been interesting. There have been three guys with over a 4 ERA have already signed big deals, obviously led by Dylan Cease with a $210 million deal. Some deferred. I get it. Any Cubs news? Any Angels updates? Angels, I get that every week. I'm surprised that all the Angel fans out there like to see it. Happy he's gone. That one I understand. The Angels, they did check in on Bellinger, as I mentioned yesterday. I do think the pitching is the main focus, but of course, Artie Moreno, the owner, does love the position players. So don't be shocked if they come in with a surprise position player. Maybe if they can save enough money on the Rendon negotiation, we'll see what happens with his retirement. Is Joe Ryan to the Red Sox still possible? I believe so. I mean, it does make sense that he could get traded. Would not be shocked whatsoever. Will the Blue Jays be back to the World Series? They're relying on a crystal ball for that one. I mean, they're going to do everything possible to get there. I'll say that. Cubs doing anything? Yes, I think they will. I don't think it'll be Tucker. We're going to get into the should I stay or should I go? Will I stay? Will I go? Something like that. Yankees going after Imai? Yes, that's a yes. I think there's no question about that. Valdez rumors. The Yankees, I mean, the Mets are, in on Valdez. I have not heard of an offer to Valdez to this point. Could be proven wrong. Situation is fluid. The prediction somebody made that he's going to the Mets, I mean, it's possible. I'm not sure. I do think the Orioles are interested. There'll be a lot of teams interested in Valdez. Terrifically consistent pitcher. Regarding Bellinger and the Yankees, yeah, I mean, a nurse at my doctor's office was asking me about that earlier today. Just went for a checkup. I'm fine in case anybody's. By the way, it is a brutal day outside here. The weather has been terrible. I thought I upgraded from Wisconsin. It is raining. Mets for Buxton. I don't know if he'd approve the Mets. I think he might approve the Braves if they're interested, but they've got Harris in the outfield and center field. Could they do it? I mean, maybe they could use a left fielder. They could move Harris to left. I don't know. I don't know that he would approve the Mets. Skeens, I mean, the Pirates are trying to improve, and I think part of that is to impress him. Any Phillies updates? Bichette to the Phillies. You know what? I haven't heard that one. I do think they're concentrating on their players. That includes Schwarber and Real Muto, perhaps Suarez as well. I kind of feel that they would take offers on Marsh, maybe Bohm. Yeah, I mean, I could see them going potentially even for Tucker. I'm not sure about Bichette. I think they're pretty well covered on the infield, but of course, if they do trade Bohm, that could open something up. I see Michael King to the Cubs, possibility. I think that could make some sense. Schwarber to the Mets. I think I saw somebody speculate on that on TV. I'm not seeing them spending on a DH at this point. If they're going to spend on a hitter, it's going to be Alonso. Of course, anything can happen later, and we're going to talk about a signing timeline too. And it feels like Schwarber is getting a lot of activity and could be one of the better players coming off fairly soon. Mets Tucker question mark. Don't see that one. If they're going to go for a lefty hitter, another lefty hitter, I would say Bellinger more likely, although still think the Yankees probably get Bellinger done. We'll see. Not close to this point. Will the Mets trade or sign a starter? They absolutely need to do that. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I do think so. Tigers, somebody mentioned Michael King. I've heard Finnegan. I heard they're trying hard on Kyle Finnegan. I think that's been reported, so I don't think that's a big scoop, but I do think that's true. So Rise, Texas. I see that in a couple places. They could use an extra hitter. I think they're concentrating on hitting. Certainly, it was not up to their level last year. So I think that's what they're doing. Braves rumors. I think they want a shortstop. I like Dubon. He's more of a utility guy. But they are looking short term on a shortstop, and I think that's probably the holdup with Kim for now. But Kim back to the Braves does make sense to me. Could Brian Bayo be moved? I doubt it. I mean, he's a great number 3 starter. I think that's fantastic if they have him as a number 3 starter, like the Sonny Gray move. I don't know if you guys all saw it, but Sonny Gray said that he was never thrilled to go to the Yankees, didn't want to go to the Yankees. He's happy to go to a team that hates the Yankees. I was amused. I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, Mets in on Bellinger. I do believe so. I think that is certainly a consideration. They want to upgrade the defense. No question about that. Yankees trade Volpe. I don't see that right now as he's hurt. They will start Caballero at short, then go to Volpe after that. Braves in on Young from Texas. I had not heard that one. Young, obviously disappointed last year, potentially very, very good player. Could be a change of scenery guy. Tell me Stearns has a plan. I'm sure he does have a plan. I couldn't tell you what it is at the moment. We'll find out more later, but obviously it's an interesting start. Mets add a big bat if the Pete comes back. That's the issue with Pete, right? I understand that Pete is not a great defender, but what if they let him go? Who's the right-handed hitter that they have who's a surefire starter, which is not Vientos, right? Vientos is a good hitter, but where's he going to play? Right now, he doesn't really have a position. Beatty will be the third baseman, unless something bizarre happens in spring training, which you never know. But they need that right-handed bat of Alonso, so I'm not sure what they do if they don't bring Alonso back. All right, let me get to that relief market and Devin Williams, $51 million, $45 million for 3 years, $6 million signing bonus. Bit deferred, so even Steve Cohen's getting into the deferral game a little bit. Didn't do that with Soto. Did it here. Can't blame him. Devin Williams got a big deal. I mean, I think I had him at $30 million or something like that. So he did much better than I would have thought off the year that he had, a 4.79 ERA. It was interesting to see. Yankee fans were upset. What's Cashman doing? As you saw, I got a chat on that already. And then the Mets, they're questioning, are we going to bring Diaz back? And that is the big question. Right now, they are apart. They certainly are not close with the Mets. I don't think Diaz is close with anybody else, so that's good news for Mets fans who really want him back. He does want a 5-year deal. The Mets do not want to go there for a pitcher who's going to turn 32, I believe, in March. I mean, the guy's a fantastic pitcher. He's great in the clubhouse. I do believe that, is it a necessity that they bring him back? In my mind, pretty close. I don't know if they feel that way. They do have some cover now with Devin Williams. To me, Devin Williams was pretty good as a setup man in the Bronx, but he was not good when he was closing. So does that mean he wouldn't be good closing for the Mets? Not necessarily. Obviously, he was generally good in Milwaukee, other than the home run by Pete Alonso. But, I mean, is this great cover for Diaz? I don't see it. Maybe they think Diaz's market shakes out and they get him on a 3 or 4 year deal. I mean, they certainly going to have to augment the 2 years that he opted out from. But they're taking a chance. In my mind, maybe it's the right chance. Maybe it's the right thing to do. What is the market? Might be Toronto. The richest owner in the American League could battle the richest owner in the National League for Diaz. That ultimately could be it. I have not heard any talk about the Yankees going for Diaz. They seem to be happy with Bednar as their closer. They do want relievers, but not playing in that market. Same with LA. So I'm wondering where it goes to. Detroit, as I mentioned, looking at Finnegan. I'm not sure where else, but there are always mystery teams. When you're talking about a player of this stature, second team all MLB, and to me, deserving of first team, you're going to have teams that are interested. It has been very interesting to see closers and other pitchers who didn't have great years last year getting great deals. I mean, obviously, there's some metrics I'm not seeing. I'm looking at ERA. Dylan Cease got 210 million. Helsley got 2 for 28 with an opt out. Raisel Iglesias got 16, and of course, Devin Williams with a 51 for 3. None of them had particularly great years. Iglesias had the best ERA at 3.21, but boy, did he give up a lot of home runs. So, I mean, none of them had great years. They all got great contracts, so go figure. Maybe that just means the pitching market is going to explode. Maybe that means that Diaz is going to get his 5 for 100. I don't see it out there yet, but sometimes these things take a while to develop. That said, bottom line, Mets need to get Diaz back somehow, some way. We shall see. All right, signing timeline. Let's go to that before I take some more of the, and I've got a chat helper out here who's going to help me, and I'm going to get to a lot of these chats. I'm sure I'm not going to get to all of them. We're getting a lot of chats, which I appreciate. Try again if I don't answer you the first time. Signing timeline. I think John Morosi or somebody speculated that Schwarber will sign before Tucker. It does feel that way. I mean, Schwarber, we've heard a lot of teams interested, whether it be Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Boston, Philly, now San Francisco. Tucker might take a little bit longer to develop. I mean, he is a big star. It is an interesting case. He is a five-tool player. People think he could get 400 million. If he does, I mean, more power to him. I don't see it. I think I had 375. So I was pretty close to the 400 on Tucker. I get it. He didn't have the year that the Cubs were expecting or their fans were expecting, but he did have 87 walks and only 88 strikeouts in this day and age. That's a pretty powerful recommendation for him. That said, I doubt he goes back to the Cubs. It'll be part of my these players thing. Put question mark, should they stay or should they go, or will they stay or will they go? I will agree with Morosi on this. I do see Schwarber with more activity early, just the way it shakes out. I mean, more activity was gotten by Helsley and Williams before Diaz in the relief market. That has to do with the price, right? People aren't anxious to spend 100 million, or in the case of Tucker, 400 million, or whatever the ask may be. It might even be 500 million. Favorite spot for Tucker. I mean, I kind of speculated on Toronto, and people, I think, picked up on that. I don't know if they heard something more than I picked up on. I know they have an executive who was with Houston and likes Tucker, James Click, who was a GM there. They are willing to spend, so I do see Toronto as a potentially viable option, but Toronto's got a pretty good outfield, so I don't know if the need is really there. The need is there in LA, but the question is, will the years be there for Tucker in LA? I think that might be a case where they want to do like a Harper type thing with a shorter deal for Tucker. I mean, Tucker didn't have the big year, just like Harper didn't have the big year as his platform year. And it does feel like probably LA and probably some other teams are going to try to go shorter. Is he going to go for that shorter deal? I mean, I think there might be some players who would. The word on Tucker is he probably will not. And I don't blame him. I get it. I mean, you have a 143 OPS plus, you should expect to get that big deal. Now, is it his best year? Maybe not, but, they've all been good years, really, basically. He's clearly the number one guy out there. The comparison, of course, with Bellinger a year older. Bellinger is more versatile. I think Bellinger's probably got more teams interested because he can play first base and he can play center field. I don't doubt Tucker can play center field as well, but it's not as proven as Bellinger in center field. Both are five-tool players now that Bellinger's got his offensive game back together again. Tucker's been the more consistent player, a little bit younger, so he will get the bigger deal. How much bigger? We shall see. But if he gets 375, I mean, Bellinger's not going anywhere near that. So, we'll see. I don't know if it's out there for him. The Yankees, would they do that? I don't think so. Bellinger's a better fit for the Yankees. Bellinger's a better fit for the Mets. He's a better fit for a lot of teams. Is he a better player? No, Tucker's the better player. Signing timeline, I'm agreeing Schwarber will go before Tucker. Doesn't mean that Schwarber's better than Tucker either. It just means that the market's developing and teams have a higher threshold to pay that 150 million or whatever it's going to be for sure. It might even be 175. I've seen 200 speculated on. I think I had 140 or 145, something like that is my prediction. And he had a big year, 56 home runs, amazing in the clubhouse. There are guys that are clubhouse plus. Even these days of analytics, there are guys that are clubhouse pluses. And I do believe Schwarber is one of those guys, and teams are anxious to have him. He's also been on several teams. Boston's a team that had him and likes him. He was on Washington. Now they're not spending; they are rebuilding. We've seen that Gore is out there. I do believe they will end up making some trades, whether it be Gore, C.J. Abrams, or whomever. That's not going to be a team for Schwarber, but he's going to have more than the four teams that I mentioned. Maybe San Francisco. Could the Cubs? Wouldn't rule it out. We shall see. All right, these players staying put. Will they stay or will they go? I've renamed it myself, but the way they have it is great too. These players staying put. We'll start with Bellinger. While it's not close with the Yankees right now, it is a good fit. His dad played there. He enjoyed it. He wants to play for a winner. That's the one thing he told me. So I don't know. The Angels are out there as a team that's interested. I really think that's a long shot. Dodgers, his old team likes him, and potentially that's a team. The Phillies could be a team, depending on what happens, how that outfield situation shakes out. The Mets is certainly a team that's interested due to the Bellinger defense, which is terrific. Will he stay? Will he go? Or go? I'm going to lean stay for Bellinger. Even though they're not close, might take a while. I think they'll probably figure it out, but it's still pretty close to 50-50. All right, Diaz also doesn't appear to be close with the Mets. I'm sure they're willing to do an extra year. At least I think they will. Are they willing to do 2? Not sure. Are they willing to do 3? No. Toronto is the team that's the threat there. Could easily go to Toronto. I like Diaz's 50-50 assessment at the All MLB Awards. I think he had it pretty much on the money. Will he stay or will he go? I mean, I'm hearing there are mystery teams. Are they teams that I know? No, they're mysteries. But Detroit, I think, is looking at Finnegan, as I mentioned earlier. Baltimore signed Helsley, as we know. The Braves have signed Iglesias. So, I mean, that relief market's the one that has really shown itself to this point. But I don't think the market for Diaz has really shown itself to this point. So we shall see. I think 50-50 was a good assessment. At this point, I'm going to say, yeah, I think he more than likely stays, but basically close to 50-50. I mean, he had it right. Pete Alonso, will he stay? Will he go? I mean, I think Boston is a fit. We know, and I'm going to talk some more about what Boston is aiming to do. I think that is a fair fit. There probably San Francisco could be a fit. Could the Angels potentially? Baltimore, if they trade Mountcastle, could be a fit. But to me, I don't know what they do if they don't sign Alonso back. Where's the right-handed power coming from? Vientos obviously has it, but he doesn't have a position at this point. So I don't know where they're getting their right-handed power. You've got Alvarez, who hasn't hit home runs like he did as a rookie. You've got a couple right-handed hitters. Tyrod Taylor is a backup. Not going to get much power there. So, I mean, to me, I don't know where they're going if they don't bring Alonso back. So I'm going to say more than likely they figure it out and he ends up staying. So we got a lot of guys with a decent chance to stay. Bregman, I think Boston, could it be Detroit potentially? We know they offered 171.5 million a year ago. Boston certainly worked out. He played very well there. They've got a young team. They like the right-handed bat. And we're going to talk more about what Boston is aiming to do in a little while. But I do think that Bregman makes sense for Boston. So there's another one I'm going to say more than 50-50. Is it a lot more than 50-50? No, probably not. Toronto's a possibility. Maybe Seattle. If he wants to go there. To me, Boston is a team that fits him. He wants to be in a big market. I think that fits him. Kyle Tucker, this one I'm going to say no right off the bat. I don't see him staying with the Cubs. Doesn't make any sense. It didn't seem like the Cubs fans are clamoring to bring him back. Cubs ownership isn't a crazy, wild spending team. They're a team that really plays it, I don't want to say tight. That sounds like an insult, but they don't spend like crazy. And if they got any more chats, I'm happy to answer them. Tucker, I think that's too rich for the Cubs, so I'm going to say he will go. Senga came out, Will Salmon, good Mets reporter, suggested He wants to stay. I don't think that matters a hoot to the Mets. I don't think they care at all about that. So I think he goes. All right. Who does LA get for outfield? Duran, Buxton, or Tucker? I mean, Padres, they're ones fixated on Duran. I think Buxton wants to go to the Braves, and Tucker maybe. I don't. I think they want to go short term, and that probably won't get it to it. Will Joel Youngblood be available? That's an interesting question from my youth. Hopefully he's still alive. I don't know that, but he's certainly available. But I don't think he'll be signed by anyone. All right, let's go here. More tweets. Mariners plans for second or third base. I think they're still looking at Polanco, possibility for Boston as well, but I think that is a possibility. Suarez a possibility. Could Murakami be a possibility? Could see that. Valdez, Yankees, question mark. I think they're looking at Imai. I think that's the guy they're looking at more. Maybe. I think they would add a starter, but it feels like that's their focus in the starting pitching. They're really looking at Bellinger, relief, and Imai. Murakami to the Phillies. I mean, they'd have to trade Bohm first. If they trade Bohm, potentially, I think Phillies would like to get into that Japanese market. I think the Phillies have a decent chance to be looking pretty seriously at Imai as well. Uh, Odds Yanks get Diaz too. No, not good odds. I'll put that at 5%, and of course you can get back to me if I'm wrong on that, or the 5% comes through. That's 20 to 1 odds basically, or 19 to 1 technically. Yeah, I don't think the Yankees are looking at Diaz. I like that idea for the Yankees. I really do. If they had Diaz and Bednar, that'd be a dynamic combination in the back end. I think there'll be other teams, including Toronto, that are the threats for the Mets more. Bichette to the Yanks. The Yanks had his brother, Dante. They drafted him first or second round. Very high draft. Didn't pan out, but Bo certainly has. I don't think so. It feels like that Caballero is going to be the shortstop. Seems like they're satisfied enough with McMahon at third. Maybe get Ahmed Rosario to platoon with him. I think the Yanks, as I said, are focused on Bellinger. Maybe Tucker as a backup plan, which to me, backup plan at 375 million, that never works. Really, that's a rarity. You've got Imai possibly, you've got relief possibly. I don't think Bichette's going to the Yanks. Will Bellinger sign before Tucker? Yeah, comes first? That's the chicken or the egg. That's a tough one. I can answer the Schwarber and Tucker one because it feels like there's a lot of buzz around Schwarber early, and it feels like that he may go ahead of some of these other guys. Bellinger and Tucker, it feels like there's still a ways away. That could be a competition between two of the high-powered agents, and maybe neither one of them wants to go first. I don't know. Obviously, Tucker is going to get more than Bellinger. Is he going to get double Bellinger? He's younger, more consistent, walks more. I mean, there's three things that recommend Tucker over Bellinger. Now, Bellinger is more versatile and will have more teams interested. I don't think he will get double, but I mean, based on my prediction, it was pretty close to that. I think I had Bellinger at 180 and Tucker at 375. So, is it worth double? That's an interesting question for a guy who's young, a little bit younger, maybe a year and a half younger. Uh, Walks more, a little more consistent offensively. I don't know. Bellinger to me is a real clubhouse plus too. We got to take that into consideration. At least I take that into consideration still. Mets signing McNeil or Senga. I guess that means trading. I think they both get traded. That'd be my opinion. Alonso timeline. It took a long time last time. I'm not going to vie from that now. I think it'll be taking a while. I don't think they're close. If Yankees get Imai, but Mets on Bellinger, would they pivot to Tucker or make a trade? Tucker to me doesn't fit the Yankees or Mets. I could be wrong. I'm sure both teams have checked in, but the Mets have a lot to do. So to sign a guy for $400 million, one guy at this stage, you've already got one guy who's a great right fielder, or at least a great hitter, making $765. Is that the price? I can't even remember what Soto's price was now. I think it's $765 record anyway. So to get two right fielders and pay him over $1 billion for right fielders, both left-handed hitters, I don't see how that fits. The Yankees have a pretty good right fielder too. Remember Aaron Judge? I don't see how that fits either. Are they going to check in? Did they check in? I'm sure they did. But to me, Bellinger fits them both better. Tucker will get more money, is the number one free agent. I don't think it's going to be in New York. Vientos a trade possibility. I mean, you'd be selling low now. I mean, that's what they're doing with Senga, so who knows? Maybe. Peralta to Cubs. I'm not seeing that. I think they liked Shaw at third base. Horner, I think, will probably stay. I think the Cubs are probably open to trades on their guys who will be free agents in a year. So, maybe, but I think Peralta is more likely for Boston or for Seattle. All right, I'm going to get to some more chats in a while. Let's do Blue Jays, Red Sox search. All the activity, not all of it, but a lot of the activity is in the AL East. There's a lot going on there, and I've seen where the Red Sox are concerned about their payroll. Stop it already. The Red Sox revenues are through the roof. No matter how the team is doing, and the team is doing well. They took a step forward last year, made the playoffs, have a great young team. The Devers trade saved them. Not only was it good for their clubhouse, it saved them $250 million. So I don't want to hear about Red Sox saving. I do believe they are looking at Alonso, Schwarber, Real Muto, Akamoto, and Bregman. So they're looking at, and Polanco. So that's six guys they're looking at, and I think they'll sign one or two of them. Bregman, the most likely. I think Schwarber, even though he's left-handed, they love him from when he was there. Alonso, I think they like him very much. He's right-handed. His wife's from Boston. I don't know if that matters to him. It may a little bit. Why not? So, I mean, Boston's active in that search. In terms of closer, they have Chapman, so I don't think they're going that route. They've already improved with Sonny Gray, who had a nice, interesting press conference. So I think they're really looking at bats, particularly right-handed bats. Blue Jays, I mean, they've already made the biggest signing. Dylan Cease, $210 million. They're still active. Obviously, Bo Bichette's a possibility. You could think Tucker could be a possibility. They're looking at closer. Certainly, Hoffman willing to move to setup man. Even if he's not, they're going to move him to setup man, and he's going to be an excellent setup man. I know he had that one bad pitch, that slider to Miggy Rowe, which he's never going to forget. We're never going to forget. Unfortunate. Otherwise, had an outstanding October. Very fine pitcher, but I think they want a closer. So I think they're looking closely at Diaz. We know Bichette they're looking at. We know Tucker looking at. They've already signed Cease, so to me, the Blue Jays are the team to look at, which I think I wrote that right away. I think they were going to sign big and they were going to spend big, and they've tried. We know they tried for Ohtani, good for them. They tried for Soto, good for them. They've signed Guerrero. They have a rich owner. They have an excited fan base. They have a terrific franchise. All good there. I know some people in Toronto are still mad at me because I said that it's great that Ohtani signed in LA, but Toronto's a great place as well. I was up there, and I hadn't been there a long time. It was terrific to be up there. The fans are really into it. Good people, good fans, all good. Everything good in the AL East. All right, let me see here. Do you see a lot of trades at the winter? We've already had a couple trades, so I can see some more trades. Obviously, we've had the trade of Semien and my friend Brandon Nimmo, and we've also had the Sonny Gray trade. I think teams are trying to do trades. I could see Joe Ryan potentially. I could see Mackenzie Gore. Less likely, Skubal, Peralta, Alcantara. Not seeing them at the moment. Cubs in on Alcantara. Sure. I mean, I think there are a lot of teams in on him, but are they going to trade him? I don't see that. Rant about how Cubs never spend. I do that all the time on the Score. If you guys ever hear me, I'm on once a week on the Score, and I'm always talking about how they have the biggest disparity between revenue and payroll. And yeah, they don't spend like they can. They've never had a $200 million player. I guess that's better. That looks good compared to the White Sox. They've never had a $100 million player on the South Side. Both teams need to spend more. The White Sox, it won't be this year. They're not in contention. Cubs need to spend more. I agree. Mets, Imai, I think they've looked at him and they're looking at him, and him being a 27-year-old starter, I think that he probably interests them. I think they really look at the age, not to say they're ageist, but I do think they really look at it and they will consider it. Imai, I think more likely for the Yankees, maybe the Phillies. Gallen to Angels, question mark. Angels are going to get a pitcher. I could see that easily. Gallen is an East Coast guy, but I could see him bouncing back too. I think someone's going to get a good deal on Gallen because he's not going to get big bucks. I know a lot of guys have with a 4 ERA, but feels like the trade market didn't go his way. I don't think he's going to get big bucks. Yankees adding right-handed hitting. I think they'll get a right-handed hitting third baseman at least. Bellinger's the guy they're looking at. So the big guy they're looking at is left-handed, but they liked him in the clubhouse in that lineup, and that's the way they're going. Are the Padres willing to move Tatis? Look, they've got a new owner coming in. Maybe they wait and see how it shakes out. Maybe they do have some orders. They're obviously not spending big, that I can say. Are they offloading? I mean, JJ Preller's there. He's not going to want to trade Tatis, so I think that's a long one. All right. Tigers downplaying, no, doing anything besides, oh, sorry, Finnegan. We'll see. If they shopping Skubal, that'll be something, but I think that's tough to do for the fans. I don't see how they can trade Skubal, but not going to count it out. I mean, that's going to be a talking point at the winter meetings. The best pitcher in baseball. I mean, you could make a case for Skeens, but I'm going to say Skubal based on what he's done so far overall. 2 Cy Youngs. That's tough to do, but we shall see on that one. I mean, that's the big one for them. I think they're going to add another reliever along with Finnegan, assuming they do get Finnegan. They want another strikeout guy for that. Mets outfield trade market. Look, they'd like Buxton. Will he go there? Am I kind of doubtful on that? He didn't want to go anywhere, much less New York. He's been in Minnesota. Not a ton of outfielders out on the trade market. I think they're interested in Bellinger, but if they could find a righty bat that would fit, that would be good. I'm trying to think of who would fit. Bader, potentially. So there's some free agents. Brian Reynolds to the Mets. I don't know. I don't see that one right now, but I like that. I like that thought. Any Astros update? Sort of looking at a starter, looking at Brendan Donovan. That'll be a guy for them. Cubs most likely starting pitching trade target. I can see Suarez or Gallen for them. I think they'll play in those kind of waters, the $75 million to $150 million waters. Maybe that's light for Suarez. I don't know, but I don't see them going for the really big ones. I'm sure they'll check in on Imai and Valdez as well, but we'll see. That might be a little rich for them, for their taste. Certainly they can afford it. Phillies move on from Bohm and Stott. I've not heard they're going to move on from Stott. I think they'll probably listen on Bohm. I do believe they're going to listen on Marsh. So they're doing a lot of stuff. Giants, Zach Gallen, potentially does make sense. I've seen where they're not going to go for the biggest free agents. He was a number 1 pitcher at one point. Sandy to the Yanks, question mark. I think Alcantara stays where he is. So I do. And the Yankees aren't that desperate for a starter. I think Imai's the guy that they're looking at. Let me finish up with the Yankees trade rumors. It's been out there that Dominguez and Spencer Jones could be traded. I don't see how they trade Spencer Jones. I mean, all the comps, and I understand that he had a up and down season. When he was up, he was really up. When he was down, he was really down. But this is a guy with incredible talent, big power, big speed. The comp has been Aaron Judge. Now, Aaron Judge is an all-time great. No, no one's going to be Aaron Judge, but he's got those kind of tools. Maybe not quite that power, certainly not quite that power. He does have the speed, probably even greater speed than Judge. I don't see how they trade Spencer Jones. I'm just not seeing that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've seen it out there. I think right now they're looking to bring in Bellinger and add to what they've got. If they bring in Bellinger, and they get the right offer, I'm not going to rule anything out. I do think it's pretty unlikely that they would take that chance to trade Spencer Jones with his talent. Dominguez, now he had a full year in the big leagues, and he didn't perform as a lot of people had expected or hoped. He was not good in left field. He obviously has good speed. He has good power, although he didn't always show it consistently. Is it possible? I think that seems more likely to me that they would consider trading Dominguez. Look, Grisham is back. If they sign Bellinger, they got some hopes for Spencer Jones. Does make sense that you might look at that trade. Now, let's not forget that they wouldn't talk about Dominguez back when they were trying to get Soto, and they ended up trading pretty fair price to get Soto, but they would not even talk about Dominguez. It does feel like his stock has fallen a bit. So, if they're going to trade one of the two, that might be the one more than Spencer Jones, but I wouldn't guarantee that they would trade either one of them. All right, it's been great. It's been my pleasure. Jon Heyman signing off for Bleacher Report. Again, as I said, I'll be back at you every day this week and next week. So we're going to look at about the next 10 days in a row before you get rid of me. All right. Great talking to you, and we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same bat channel.